Hi guys, Mattia Goff here. Welcome back to this channel. I have been meaning to get this video out for weeks, so I'm finally sitting down and knocking it out. I've got some life updates for you and a big announcement that we would love to share, so stay tuned for that. So we just wanted to go ahead and get our big announcement out of the way and let everybody know that okay, so in case you missed that, yes, we are expecting Goth Baby number 4 coming in September. So be grateful I didn't tell you early. You only have to wait like 6 months before the baby comes. That's nothing when you're waiting for a baby. So if you follow me on social media, you have probably known this news for a while now. Everyone keeps asking if we know if we're having a boy or a girl yet. We are actually gonna find out in about a couple of weeks, so come on back for that. We'll do some fun gender reveal. It should be pretty awesome. In the meantime, I know everyone has a lot of questions on how we're doing things and when we're doing them. I've done some old videos before where I've kind of talked about my experiences in a hospital and out of hospital births and things like that. And this is baby number 4, so it's kind of a been there, done that thing. So I definitely know what it is I like to do for sure. And Chris, by the way, he would totally be here to tell you all this also, but he's just one of those guys that does not like being on camera, but he is here around, I promise. So yes, I am seeing a midwife this time again. This is actually a different midwife than the past couple of kiddos that I've had, and it's a little bit closer to where we are located. We live kind of out here in the boonies, and so it's a place that's a little bit closer. She is located in her own private birthing center, very close to a hospital though. I have been with a midwife and ended up in the hospital due to complications. I've had a couple of wonderful out-of-hospital births at a birthing center. We would probably love to have an at-home birth, but again, we are located so far away from any hospital, and considering I have ended up in a hospital before, it's just one of those things. I would prefer to be a little bit closer, but I really do like the whole midwife experience, midwifery care, and out of hospital births. That is what I prefer. Chris and I both really enjoy that experience. So we are going with that again. And I really love my new midwife. Things are going really great in that respect. This pregnancy has actually been a lot better so far. I have had hyperemesis with all of my pregnancies previous to this, but this time has been a breeze in that department. So things are going really good so far. Anyway, I'm sure we will talk lots more about pregnancy and baby stuff coming up, and I'm gonna have a lot of content that has to do with homeschooling with a new baby and all of that fun stuff coming up in the months to come. So come back and check all that out for sure. Right now, I think we're gonna do kind of a walk around outside, show you all the projects that we have going on right now, give you a little life update that way, and we'll come back to the baby stuff later. This is Sydney. I don't think we've ever introduced her on YouTube before, but this is our sweet Marama Italian sheepdog. She is just now a year old, and she's, I think, almost 100 pounds. But this is the time of year where we are outside doing all of the things. We are getting the garden going, doing all of the fun outdoor things. But Sydney and I have a little story. This is also the time of year where the snakes come out. And if you happen to live in an area that has venomous snakes, like we do, it's just something that you really need to watch out for, because, you know, you're outside, you're doing all of the gardening and all of the things, and sometimes you just don't see them. So the other day, we just got back from a weekend out of town with family. Came back and I was watering the garden and checking over some things. And Sydney here, come here, was outside with me just like she is all the time, just like this. And she started messing with something off to the side. And just having seen her go after snakes before, I knew that that's probably what she was messing with, even though I couldn't see it. Well, she ended up jumping back like she had gotten bit. I found the snake, and sure enough, it was a baby copperhead. I took care of the snake. It was up really close to the house, too. I looked her over, and I didn't see any bite marks, but a few hours later, came out, and her face was just swollen up to, like, twice its normal size. So, she actually got bit by a rattlesnake just a couple of days before I picked her up when she was only like 4 or 5 months old. So I knew that she had already survived a snake bite before. What I did was I looked up some dosages online and I gave her just some regular Benadryl tablets, the kind that we just have, you know, for people. It took the swelling right down and she did just fine. She obviously is recovered. This was actually just a couple of days ago and she is not swollen at all. She is doing great, but that's just a little hack. You know, she is a large breed dog, and I would definitely be careful of smaller dogs for sure, but just a little info on that. A little Benadryl can go a long way when you're in a pinch for sure. Oh, baby. Yeah. So since last spring, due to predators mostly, we were down to only 3 hens and a couple of laying ducks and a rooster. So we did chicks this year. I was able to get my hands on a dozen Barred Rock chicks. Barred Rocks were a breed that I was looking for all last year and just could not get them anywhere. They happened to be at our feed store, so I scooped them up the day that they came in. And so now they are outside. They've been outside for a while now. They're probably close to 2 months old now. We have a dozen of them. Guys, hi, what you doing? Come here, come see me. They're super, super friendly. We've been raising them since they were only about a day old. And Barred Rocks in general are just a pretty friendly breed. This isn't all of them, but they're doing great. They have all survived so far. Hey, Steven. I'm calling this one Steven because they're all supposed to be hens, but I'm pretty sure a rooster snuck in. So I'm calling him Steven Tyler because dude looks like a lady. This is the only one that still has just a little bit of fuzz on her. Do you see that fuzzy stuff? She still has a tiny bit of chick fuzz. It's so funny. You're funny. But yeah, the whole reason that we do chickens, we're not trying to be full-on homesteaders or anything like that, but we are trying to do things responsibly. And chickens are one of the livestock that are, first of all, they're super easy, especially if this is something you're new at. They provide us with lots of eggs. We constantly have eggs on hand. It's never anything that I need to go get from the grocery store. And if need be, since we have enough of them now, they can also provide meat if need be. So chickens are one of those things we really enjoy. They're easy for the kids to also participate in. Yeah, I know. I love my little chickies. I'm turning into that crazy chicken lady. I really am. So gardening is another thing that I've always really enjoyed doing, but until we moved out to this property about 1.5 years ago, it wasn't really something that I was able to ever pursue with the kids. So we've been super blessed to live where we live now, and last year we had a great garden, and this year we've expanded it. So let me show you what we got going out today. I am admittedly behind. Sorry, the wind is just starting to kick up. I am admittedly behind a bit with some things in the garden. Early pregnancy, again, was so much better than my previous pregnancies, but I was a little on the sick side. I was super tired this pregnancy in the beginning, so I didn't get out and do a lot of things that I should have done a little bit earlier. But don't worry, we got going. We still just need to do a few more things to get in full swing in the garden. So this is my little herb trough. I had herbs in here last year, and that's what I'm doing again. And from seed, I started a bunch of cilantro, and this was from seed from my cilantro last year. I got some basil coming in here. It's a little patchy, but honestly, it's okay. I had more basil than I knew what to do with last year. I still have a ton of dried basil and herb salts and stuff from last year, so I'm not worried about the basil. I do have some mint and some oregano going over here as well. And I've got other herbs in other parts of the garden as well. Everything is a bit messy in the garden right now, so don't judge me too badly. We need to get out here and mow certain areas, like around the edges of these beds obviously need to be mowed. In other places, the grass is just starting to come up. But we have things going, and that is what is important. In this long bed here, I had, and they're not doing great right now, but I had some zinnias that I had started in this bed. I think I'm going to have to replant some flowers on this little end cap, but we'll deal with that later. Got some lavender going on the end here, some lemon balm. This one is not doing well. Don't know what's happening there. Cosmos are coming up. I had a whole bunch of echinacea planted in here, but the days after I planted it, we had a ton of wind and a ton of rain, and I'm pretty sure all the seeds got washed away, so I'm gonna have to replant that. This little section right here actually has some chamomile starting to come up, and then all of these rows here, it's gonna be really difficult to see. Let me see if I can come in here, find you some. We've got carrots coming up, lots and lots of carrots. I have two different types of carrots coming in. I have a rainbow blend and then another just large orange carrot, both of which are a little bit faster growing than the ones I did last year. So hoping to have some carrots a little bit sooner this year. I was gifted with a whole stack of pallets earlier this year, which was amazing. So I had a few of them last year, but we have been doing all of these little pallet beds, which are just working out great. You know, they're not the fanciest, but I mean, look how much food I can grow out of a pallet. It's amazing. Some of this stuff is a little beat up looking. We just had a bunch of rain come through last night, and I think it kind of beat up some of these plants a little bit. These are all a variety of different peppers. I still have some more pepper starts that I have not planted in the garden yet, but some of these are coming in pretty good. I've got a bell pepper coming in right there. It's going to be a red bell pepper. And then I've got another one coming in here. I've got 4 of these little Cajun bells, which I'm really excited to try. I've got a couple of different bell peppers. I have more bell pepper starts that are coming out. And then I've got a couple sweet pepper plants that were actually from last year. I don't know if you can tell where these were larger plants that I cut down and I saved indoors over the winter. And this year, they're coming back. And yeah, they got beat up a little bit for sure. But they're all growing, they're blooming, and they are even starting to produce. So that is exciting. I have zucchini going in this bed. I literally planted 3 zucchini seeds this year, and that was it. Last year, I had more zucchini than I knew what to do with. So much. I still have some in the freezer. So yeah, we're doing a lot less zucchini this year. And I have 5 spaghetti squash coming in over here. I'm excited about these guys. On the other end caps of these beds, I have sunflowers coming in, which when they get up a little bit higher, will provide these beds with a little bit of afternoon shade, which will be nice. This bed is a funny story. Last year, I had a couple of different plantings in here, one of which was lettuce on one side. Since then, this bed has been tilled up and planted with other things, but look at all this volunteer lettuce that came back all on its own. I just think is crazy. But you know what? It actually works out really well because literally all of the lettuce that I tried planting this year, none of it germinated. I think I got a bad batch of seeds. It's a little crazy. But what this bed actually had in it is garlic. All of this stuff here, even these little ones that aren't looking great, but they're fine. I planted these back in December. And so even some of these, they don't look amazing, but trust me, they are growing. They're coming back. Some of them are doing really good. So yeah, most of this bed is actually garlic that'll be ready to harvest in the summer. And then along the trellis here, I've got some green beans coming in. Other side of this trellis, I have a different variety of pole beans coming in. And then all along here, I've got radishes coming in. And then I just succession planted a few more rows of radishes. Along this edge is where I was trying to get the lettuce going, and it just was not happening. So I switched gears, and I've just recently planted some cabbage over there. So we'll try for that, see what happens. Radishes are not something that I would have imagined myself being really excited about growing in the garden. I feel like most people, when they think about eating radishes, they think about them sliced raw on salads. And even then, most of the time, people sort of just tolerate them. There isn't a lot of people that are like, I just love radishes. But I have to say, once I figured out how easy they are to grow and how fast they come in, I mean, we're talking 4 to 6 weeks, plant to plate. You can succession sow them so easily to where you just sort of have a constant stream of radishes eventually. I learned how to cook with them. I learned how to cook with them in a lot of different ways, and they are a fantastic filler in a lot of different things. Once you roast them or even saute them, it changes the flavor profile a lot. And I love radishes now. I get my kids to eat them, no problem. So, hi. Rude. So yeah, we plant a lot of radishes now. These beds still look so sparse, but it's all coming in and it's gonna look great. In this back row, I've got cucumber coming up. I didn't do a lot of cucumber this year because, again, last year I just had way too much. I've got kind of a little trellis around this bed so it comes up. And then in the front here, I have a bunch of dill coming in, which is great. Last year, I had hardly any dill at all because the caterpillars just destroyed it in the spring. So I'm happy to have more dill this year. Oh my gosh, I wish I had caught that. Can y'all see, like, her hackles are up? That rain and that storm that we got last night knocked down this branch here, and she just noticed it down. And it freaked her out. She went running, barking at it. You are a goofball, Sid, but thank you for protecting me from the wild branch. I have some eggplant coming in over here. Last year we didn't have any problem with aphids, and this year they were all over this eggplant, but I think we've got some, I don't know, maybe ladybugs or something that's come in and gotten rid of the aphids for me, and so the new leaves that are coming in are all looking pretty healthy and nothing's really gotten to them yet. So I'm really hoping these are all going to do well. I've never grown eggplant before, so I'm super excited about these. Still working on it. These beds are planted, but we may have to re-sow some things. This back row of pallet beds we're calling Kid Row. We're actually working on building a sign. But the girls, this is just kind of their garden.
they are responsible for it. They're responsible for planting it and watering it most of the time. Anyway, we've got a couple of jalapeno plants coming in. And then in the back there, they are growing some sweet peas. And then just some random flowers that they threw out here in the middle. Over in this bed, got watermelon coming up. Very patchy, but we've got something coming up, so we'll see what happens. I let the girls plant these on their own. This one is supposed to be corn. All of our hay blew off the top of it, and I don't see anything coming up yet. I think it should be by now, so we may end up replanting this bed. But it's kind of fun. The girls can get their own little kid garden out here with the rest of them. Another bed over here that I'm pretty sure an armadillo was digging in. Thankfully not planted yet though. I have several okra starts that are just not quite big enough to get out in the garden yet, but that is where they will be going. And hopefully I'm getting rid of the armadillos. This is still our pumpkin patch area from last year. You can see something's been digging in it there too. Looks terrible right now, but I did learn my lesson last year about planting pumpkins too early. So I'm going to be waiting till probably around June to plant my pumpkins so that we have a true fall harvest instead of a summer harvest of pumpkins. A lot of my pumpkins kept well in storage, so we still had pumpkins to decorate with around fall, which was fun. But we're going to wait to plant this for a while. So in the meantime, it's just keeping it weeded. Probably need to cover it. I also have another couple pallet beds that are reserved for strawberries, and I just have not been able to go out and get strawberry starts this year. I meant to either get starts earlier. I didn't really want to start them from seed this year just because we had so much other stuff going on. But yeah, we're getting to the strawberries too. Lastly, I wanted to show you guys the other thing that I used some of my gifted pallets for was starting a new compost bin. I had a pile started last year, but I didn't get walls around it fast enough. So animals got into it and a lot of other stuff got added to it that I really didn't want in there. So this year I'm starting a true compost pile, which we are adding our chicken manure in. You can see all of the shavings in there, and then just all of our kitchen scraps is what goes in this. And I think we're going to have some really nice compost for next year's garden. Okay guys, lastly, I'm going to bring you out here to the office / schoolroom to kind of give you an update on this ridiculous situation. Okay, long story short, we first saw this place and started working on it almost 2 years ago. It was, I believe, June before last. It was June before last that we first came out here. We found out that it was available for us to lease, and we decided that we were going to go ahead and make a deal with the owners and put in some of our own money. We were going to fix up the place. It's an older home, but a lot of it was just cosmetic, and we were going to fix it up, and it was going to be great. And so far, it has been amazing. One of the biggest projects, however, aside from cleaning up the property itself, as far as the actual home goes, one of the biggest projects that we took on was this space that I'm currently in. So it had what was originally a detached garage that they eventually attached to the house via sort of a breezeway area. Well, we have a very large shop and a carport and an extra carport off the back of the shop on the property. So this smaller garage really didn't serve any purpose as a garage. So we decided that this would be the perfect place to renovate as an office slash schoolroom. All right, I'm gonna kind of try and stand back in the corner here to show you guys this space. This wall here is where the original garage door was that came sort of right about there. So we ripped out the door, built a wall, and then put in this window. I love this great big window in here because aside from that, there was no other light in here but this small window in the back. So I'm so glad that we put in this window for all this natural light that's gonna be in here. So this wall was not here. We added that. Our original thought on this space was that it was mainly going to be our schoolroom, but kind of, off in the back corner somewhere, we would have sort of our little home office. At the time, though, we didn't realize that Chris was he was switching companies that he worked for. He was gonna get to work from home full time. So once we figured that out, we were like, okay, well, we have to have a true office for him. So we decided to split this space. It's not quite in half. That back space is smaller than this side. So what we did was we built this wall, and we're gonna be building a large sort of sliding barn door. And this back section is gonna be Chris's office. He has a lot of computer equipment and things that he's gonna have to store in here. We actually already have some stuff out here. And obviously we are not done with like anything in here, but this space is gonna be all his. This space is going to be our schoolroom, which I'm still really excited about. We've just kind of run into a couple little roadblocks. We're doing all of this work ourselves, which is great, but finding the time and the money at the same time can sometimes be a little difficult. So basically, all we really have left to do, though, is finish mudding the walls, painting. We have light fixtures that we're going to be hanging. We need to build this door out. He already has his desks and shelves and things ready to install. And then on this wall, what we're hoping to do is have some built-ins on either side of like bookshelves and cabinets to hold all of our school supplies. And then possibly even build like a little window bench as a reading nook for the girls. That would be great. Over in this corner, I plan on having my smaller desk area. And then we're gonna fill this up with, it's gonna have a large table for us to do the majority of our work on. I'm hoping we can fit a small couch in here, maybe like a pull-out, something that can double as a guest space. We're gonna have filing cabinets and all sorts of things. We put an outlet up higher on this side so that we can hang a small TV in here for whenever I need videos and whatnot for lessons. So yeah, it's not a huge space, but it is gonna be a really fun space. And I'm super excited for it to be done. The floor is concrete. I think what we're gonna do is actually just paint it, and we have rugs that we're gonna put down. It'll be very low maintenance. We still have to trim things out, have a tiny bit of electrical we need to figure out. And for right now, that is not the unit we're gonna be using, but we are going to have a AC and heating window unit for this space. It's not very big, it really doesn't take much, but that was gonna be our best option. So those are some of the bigger projects that we have going on right now. I pretty much decided early on that this year was gonna have some big projects that we needed to get finished for sure. We were gonna go as nuts in the garden as we could, but I was gonna try and make it as low maintenance as possible. I'm gonna be pregnant through the majority of this year. So, you know, I didn't want to tackle too much and then have it all fall apart. So that's the idea. That's what we're doing. We're really hoping to get the schoolroom done. Hopefully, you know, before next school year starts. Hopefully way before that, but you know how things go. So anyway, that's our video for today. Check back soon. We're gonna have our gender reveal for the baby soon, and we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. So if you haven't subscribed already, do that. Hit the notification bell. Got a dog in my lap again. That way you won't miss anything. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Say bye soon. Bye-bye.